So I just finished the level 50 Dark Knight quest, which was insane. And I want to process it with all of you who have been playing this game way longer and are way better than I am. But oh my god, that grand reveal at the end of the level 50 Dark Knight quest was absolutely insane. And I want to process it with you in a very raw state. I mean, I literally just finished the level 50 quest like 10 minutes ago and quickly threw up the green screen and grabbed my Buster Sword, which will be used as a prop today, because how can you have a Dark Knight video and not have a big freaking sword? So, yes. Anyway, my reactions to the grand reveal. Well, part of it's my fault because I get so immersed in stories that I often neglect to see what is happening around me. And in the Dark Knight instance, that's exactly what happened. All along the way, I'm starting to agree with the philosophies of the Dark Knight. I'm still a little bitter from how A Realm Reborn ended, right? I mean, I'm the hero. I saved a ton of people, killed a bunch of freaking huge monsters, and the response is to chase me into the mountains of Ishgard and exile me? How dare you? And so, as I'm hearing the philosophies and these discussions of the Dark Knight, I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I understand it. And then when the grand reveal happened, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Which, if you don't, know what I'm talking about and you haven't gotten this far in the game, there's definitely spoilers happening in this video. So just keep that in mind. Most of you that will not apply to, so just disregard that. But I am the epitome of what authors, movie writers, any kind of storyteller hopes their audience will be like. I am the guy that will react in the way that you hope your story impacts the viewer. And I say that because, everyone that has watched movies with me, they are the ones figuring out the ending within the first 15 minutes of the film, and I'm just so immersed in the world, the characters, the dialogue, that I miss what's happening literally right in front of me. And like I said, that's exactly what happened with my playthrough of Dark Knight. So, just to kind of give you some context, I finished A Realm Reborn, and it was amazing. The ending was definitely emotional. It hit me in a lot of ways. There were some deaths that were very impactful, really cool, moments with some of the scions, really cool moments, right? And one thing that I was really looking forward to is these new classes that would then become available to me. More specifically, Dark Knight. When did I first see Dark Knight? The first time I actually saw a Dark Knight in the game was playing with, I believe it was Galactic. He is in my Discord. Galactic runs Dark Knight, I believe, as his main. But anyway, that's irrelevant information to you. I had seen another player in a dungeon that I was in running Dark Knight, and I saw these really cool moves, and obviously a really big freaking sword, which is really important in almost every single RPG. If you don't have a big sword, are you even gaming? That is the question. But anyway, I see a Dark Knight running this dungeon, and I'm thinking, wow, I really want to play as that thing. I don't know what that thing is, but that's what I want to be, that thing. And the moves are cool. There's purple lasers that would come down and spikes that came from the earth. That is what I wanted to be. So when I got to Ishgard, what was the first thing that I did? Well, aside from running around in my Dragoon armor, I wanted to become a Dark Knight. So I went and found the quest giver, which was actually totally by accident originally. But then, once the quest started, I went and sought out the character that actually, began the actual quests. And all along the way, through Frey, which, man, what a cool character, right? And maybe that's telling of me, right? But anyway, as I'm going through these quests, and there's these scenarios where people are asking me to be a hero to them, or to lend my strength or my service. Many of them are retelling and recalling my tales of slaying the different, beasts like Shiva and Ifrit and Garada. They're retelling my victories as a hero throughout Eorzea, and the conflict that I felt during the entire time was, yeah, I'm happy to help, but I'm still a little frustrated with the fact that, I've been treated so poorly throughout these lands and now being chased into exile. And so the conflict that is personified comes through Frey, the character that is the Dark Knight. And all of his dialogue the entire time I am resonating with. In fact, during one of my live streams, I even said, Frey is my spirit animal. If I were to have one, it would be Frey, even though he's not an animal. Frey would be me personified. And maybe that's because I'm at a part in my life where I'm a little bit jaded, I'm a little bit burnt out, and I'm probably a little wounded from the last 30 plus years of my life. And so when I'm playing Final Fantasy, I am totally immersed. I am literally in the game, which is why I play as a human, right? That's why I play as the human race in this game, because I want to be immersed. And I know it's not a cat girl or exotic like a bun girl, but I am enjoying myself. So as I'm immersed in this game, I'm bringing with me my emotions from the real world, which is why I resonated so deeply with Frey. And then when you factor in everything that has happened in the game up until this part, I really resonated with his responses, especially towards the end. And there was a moment where I'm standing on a pier and somebody asks me to go fetch them their stolen items. He's like a trader of some sort. And Frey is fed up with lending aid. So anyway, I decide, since I'm, the hero of Eorzea, to progress the quest, and I accept the quest and go and fetch this person's goods with my big sword. And I kill the monsters, I get the stuff back, and the response I got, it felt so much like a slap in the face. The trader was upset that there was blood spilled on his crate of goods after I just risked my life obtaining his goods back from the enemy. And Frey reacted exactly how I would have reacted in the real world. He blew up, got super frustrated, and then he said something that was very interesting, which totally caught me off guard. And even in the moment, I didn't put two and two together, but he said, I should have let Leviathan's waves crush you. Now, as a mature adult, right, we want to treat people, even those that have wronged us, better than they treat us. But in that moment, when he said that, I could resonate with the rage. I could resonate with the disdain towards this traitor, but ultimately towards all of Eorzea except for Ishgard, who has graciously taken me into their society and my exile. But my rage towards the rest of Eorzea remains. And maybe feeling taken for granted and used a little bit. I'm always the guy going clearing out these caverns and dungeons for you. And, yes, you sing my praises. And there was even a comment from one of the guards that I live up to the songs of the bards, which I think, that's cool. And I like seeing that my progress in this world is having real impact. But that still did not change the fact that I resonated so deeply this entire time with the overall, just honestly, hatred and honestly just the as Frey would put it, communing with the darkness. I resonated with that. And like I said, during my live stream, I even made a comment and was like, Frey is me. I am Frey. I am a Dark Knight. I went into Heaven's Word thinking that I was going to play the entire expansion as a Dragoon, which I may go back to that. But when I met Frey and heard his dialogue and his philosophies and his quests, I resonated so deeply with him, and I vowed myself to play as Dark Knight for a good portion of this game. Granted, I'm not very good in the dungeons quite yet. I'm still learning the movesets and the best way to optimize my rotations and whatnot. Granted, I'm not very good at dungeons in general. I enjoy them, but I'm not great. So anyway, the grand reveal. Like I said, I am the epitome of what artists and story writers and movie writers, they hope that I'm in the audience because I will be the guy that never saw it coming. And that's exactly what happened. So this entire time that I am resonating with Frey's teachings, little did I know that I was Frey. Frey was inside of me the entire time. And so that last fight with myself, really, when I saw my character and his full glory, scars, the paint, the hair, everything was me, come out of Frey's body, it left my jaw like this, right? It completely caught me off guard, which granted, many of you probably saw that coming, right? Many of you during my live stream kept saying, make sure you read the journal, which I was faithful to do, but still it never clicked that I am the person. I am Frey. I am the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is in me. And really the darkness, the conflict that I felt throughout the ending of A Realm Reborn was personified. And honestly, I don't know if this is true. This is just speculation at this point. But I would certainly hope that the Dark Knight story continues in an impactful way. I still think that there needs to be some sort of closure or reconciliation about my involvement with saving Eorzea in so many different respects, but also just the general way that I was excommunicated from an entire society. I need closure on that, right? And I'm hoping that the Dark Knight story ties into it, because you can't just move on from the fact that people that you gave your life for ultimately betrayed you and ultimately listened to the voice of a 2-foot Lala talking them into as if I killed the little Lala girl at the end of A Realm Reborn. I did not. But what I did want to do is I wanted to act very savagely towards those who betrayed me, and which we see Raban, right? Raban does that. He loses an arm. He goes berserk. Red Raban, right? That is how I felt. But I'm hoping that Dark Knight, the story, because the way that it ends after I defeat myself, which felt very climactic, but also left me wanting, because even though I defeated this dark version of myself, it doesn't mean that I've gotten resolution. So I'm hoping that the story, as it progresses in Final Fantasy XIV and Heaven's Word and even future expansions, I'm hoping that we address this, because the reality is there's still tension within me as a player. As an audience, I don't feel resolved with the way that things have panned out. I do feel a little hurt if I'm truly immersing myself in my character. I feel betrayed. I feel let down. I feel upset that now my home is Ishgard, as beautiful as it is. I'm upset that my own people were willing to listen to a tiny Lala with not overly whelming, convincing evidence. So that was a little frustrating. So I'm hoping, and maybe this is a theory, right? At this point, this is probably more of a theory, is that there's going to be a future moment in the game where I have to face that darkness again, because the way that the level 50 arc or quest ends is you've defeated the darkness, something to the effect of for now, right? You've defeated your inner darkness for now. So that tells me more is to come. And obviously there's 40 more levels to grind to get to level 90. So obviously there's more story, I'm assuming, but I would love to see this inner darkness turmoil play a major role in the actual overarching story in Final Fantasy XIV, because now that we've introduced this grand betrayal, like it's similar to other games, right? There's this inner conflict, you have to defeat it, but it's still there. And I'm wondering, is my character going to be put in a position where I give in to that darkness? And part of me, if I'm being honest, I've always been a Riku stan. I've always been a little bit more of the anti-hero camp, and sometimes even just straight up villain. If you've watched Attack on Titan, I am Team Eren all the way. I haven't finished the show, so don't spoil me, but I absolutely resonate with the anti-heroes almost in every show. Naruto, Attack on Titan, just about any form of media, I am in the camp of the anti-hero. So, part of me hopes that my character and future expansions in the main story quest, not just the Dark Knight stuff, but in the actual main quest, I hope a little bit that I get to let out that rage and maybe avenge myself, maybe redeem myself, or maybe exact revenge on those that have gravely wounded me. So I'm interested to see how all this plays out. Overall, I'll say that up until this point with the Dark Knight quest, it's been very fun. Like I said, I felt like the grinding part was a little more challenging. Granted, it could just because I suck as a tank in that role in your party. I didn't find it as easy as warrior, so I definitely struggled in Arm Vale, Cutter's Cry when I was grinding up, my levels. But that could just absolutely be user error, so I take that into full account. But I thoroughly enjoyed the story, and I really like the move sets and the way it looks. And right now, I'm actually using, I forget the name of it. It's basically it's like a big sword that's inspired by Ifrit. That's very, very cool. I really, really like that. So overall, the Dark Knight quest storyline was absolutely amazing. Super, super cool. But yeah, that's my experience. That's my reaction to the Dark Knight stuff. And so anyway, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. This was a very casual video, just kind of just processing really, really intimately and rawly the emotions and what I went through as a Dark Knight. So let me know, do you resonate with the Dark Knight philosophies? Do you like to be a little bit more of an anti-hero? Because I do. So let me know in the comments below. Hope to see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your grandma I said hello.